On today's episode of Kilts and Culture with USA Kilts, we try Resurgent Bourbon Whiskey.
Don't be an insurgent, try Resurgent!
Howdy, boys and girls. Welcome to Kilts and Culture. I am Rocky. This is Erik.
Yo.
Today, two treats. Given the horns. Yes. Two treats. We have a whiskey that we're going to try. Shocker, I know. Surprise. Second treat. We have a new project that we released this morning, but we wanted to give you guys, make sure you were aware of the project that we are doing. Mm-hmm. So, Mac, you got the footage up? Roll it.
Hey, you!
Yeah, you in the kilt!
Are you tired of boring old crypto?
Not going ape for ape coin?
Are the old NFTs in the market making you feel like a bored monkey in a zoo full of crypto punks?
Aye, laddie. This is your lucky day. We're here to officially introduce the latest and greatest crypto investments for the Celtic community.
It's like crypto with the Celtic flavor.
Like a meta haggis.
Right now, you can get in on the ground floor by purchasing any of these new original NFTs.
The Rockstar.
The Guardian.
The Rickroll.
And the Mac Daddy.
These gorgeous pieces of 8-bit Celtic art are only going to go up in value, like a Highland Coo climbing Ben Nevis. It's a good metaphor, right?
Anyway, right now, you're probably asking yourself, but guys, how do I get my paws on these epic new Celtic cryptos?
Easy, with our new cryptocurrency, Kilt Coin!
That's right. Not only are you able to invest in these certified organic 100% Celtic NFTs, but you can do it by purchasing the biggest Celtic currency to ever hit the digital kilting investing world.
It's like buying something imaginary, because it is!
Opt in now and fill your Metasporan with this shiny gold digital coin. It spins!
You do know that's not real, right?
I was not aware of that.
Data based on minutes of hard market research suggests that Kilt Coin will mint profits in excess of a lot of stuff.
Haha, that's right. So don't miss out. Put your real money where your Metasporan is today.
Who knows how much these things will increase in value?
Steve from accounting? Don't wait. Invest in Kiltcoin and our stunningly new beautiful NFTs right now. Offer void where prohibited by common sense.
Hope you guys enjoyed that. Look for the USA Kilts NFTs at a store near you.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
The fresh NFTs aisle in your grocery store.
indeed, it's near the dairy aisle.
You did say they're organic. So
Yes, it is organic, of
for what
course.
it's worth.
It's the refrigerated section. So,
Chill section.
today's whiskey. Ooh, I have to get it back closer to the camera. Bam. There you go.
Okay.
Resurgent. I was going to say NFTs, but Resurgent Bourbon. Resurgent NFTs. Resurgent Bourbon Whiskey. Mr. Mac, do you have the...
The virtual whiskey, get you virtually drunk.
Hopefully, or hopefully not. I'm not sure which answer to that. Do you have the notes, tasting notes for Resurgent over there?
I have their description. Let me look a little bit harder here.
Okay.
Well, there's some nose notes if you want to wait
Sure.
till we get the nose notes, or do you want me to read them now?
Read away. Fill time,
Oh,
Mac.
those are-
First
together.
impression on the nose is of a deeply sherried single malt, and the rich chocolate notes drop back. The anise, cinnamon, spice, and rye comes through.
Okay, come on out.
Riley, it does.
Collect your glass, Mr. Erik.
This is the
you.
ritual proving it's not a green screen this time. Which is ironic because we just did a green screen.
Yes.
Da, 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 da.
That's Mac, by the way, for the TikTok peoples. For those of us, for those of you out there wondering, we are taking over everything as much as we can. We're trying to get to as many different communities as we can. So this is the first month we're actually doing this live on Twitch, on YouTube, on Facebook, and now we're also live on TikTok. So, you can catch us at your, local store and
Is there a gang sign for TikTok?
social media near you. I don't
What,
know.
T?
No,
Nah,
it's just
I don't know what I'm doing.
T. Oh, that's like timeout.
TT.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, it
All
doesn't
right.
work.
So, Mac, You read the tasting notes, sherry cask, all that. All right.
We were intrigued by this one because it is actually made in Pennsylvania, in
This
Elverson.
one, and my bad. This is a gift from David Barr, one of our customers, and he's quasi-local to us. I know he drives past the shop on a regular basis with his classic car. Do we know what kind of car it is?
I don't remember.
It's a big boat of a classic car, a green thing.
He just
Comes sailing in.
slows down,
Exactly.
throws things at us, throws the litter
whips
out.
bottles at us.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is brewed in Elverson, PA. So it's, a half hour from here?
Yeah, well, depends how fast you drive.
So when we open the USA Kilts whiskey shop, this will be featured product.
Indeed. So, okay.
You design a tartan for him.
Smell the sherry and the...
I do.
I definitely smell the sherry.
When I cracked the seal earlier, it had a very cherry smell to it.
It's actually sherry.
I'm getting a little bit less now. I was wrong. It's not cherry. It's sherry. My bad.
It really does smell like sherry.
Yeah.
It's ironically enough reminding me of my grandmother.
Who's Sherry? Okay. Yeah, I just get a lot of sherry and wood. And like a sweet, like high note kind of.
I'm not really getting the anise or cinnamon that they're...
I get a little caramel, but that's one of my default settings.
Cinnamon, I can see it. Maybe that's like the high note kind of thing that I'm smelling.
I can pretend I'm smelling cinnamon.
That's the thing. I think I'm reading this and...
Yeah.
It's leading the witness.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Sancha.
I taste the cinnamon.
Yep.
Absolutely.
That's Bernie.
A little bit. Yeah. We didn't let it breathe. Just
Right.
poured it out, and I've been trying to swirl a little bit.
And very short. Any other recipe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there says hints of peach and apple peel present to soften a beautiful fruit balance. Wash of maple, blackberry, and apple with a mild vanilla and pastry creme.
Is this like a random whiskey notes generator out there
I
or
think
something?
so. A tang of anise, slight. I only
Tang?
got slight.
Yeah.
And a velvet mouthfeel.
I'll tell you right now, I do like it.
It's like the fruit punch.
Spoiler
of,
alert. I'm not picking up all that stuff. but
Notes
it's-
of pepper coat the tongue.
Yeah. I get the pepper. I get the cinnamon. I get fruitiness, but it's like kind of a fruit punch generic-y fruitiness.
And rich black tea and sugar cube finish.
Yeah, it's a little.
I don't get...
Bernie.
I'm gonna try a little.
I'm not getting
gonna
any
cut
of
it
the
a little
What
bit.
the
peach or
heck?
apple or...
Yeah. Water
It's
it
like
down. Just
tasting
a little
notes
bit.
by committee. I mean,
I get the anise and
Yeah.
and pepper, but
maybe a little bit more.
Yeah. The anise came out with the water.
I think the watering killed the nose.
Yeah.
oh yeah, that
Yeah,
did drop
cut it
that
right down. And I didn't even pour. I only poured like a teaspoon. I had nothing.
I have like two large drops.
What's the tasting note? Was it Did you read tasting?
I
as
read
well?
all the notes that they have there.
Okay. Wasn't a lot of notes. All right.
That was a lot.
It was enough.
There's a lot of flavors that
Yeah.
say,
Also, this and this.
All right, Mr. Mack, how you feeling about it? Give me feedback.
I from reading the notes and going to what it is, like I expected this thing and I got something way over here. Like I expected it to be sweeter and more like a fruity Jaeger is where I was kind of
Fruity Jaeger.
thinking.
Fruity Jägermeister kind of thing.
Yeah.
Got it. I'm just getting something now, a little like metallic-y taste on the side. I don't know. It maybe just be me hitting my fillings wrong or something, but maybe something to have to do with the anise. I don't know.
That could be. I mean, I like anise flavored stuff.
Yeah,
so that
yeah,
doesn't-
like Springerly's.
Of
Yeah,
course,
of course.
Springerly's are the best cookies, especially when a certain owner makes
Co-owner
those
makes them,
cookies.
yes. My wife makes Springerly cookies for the staff for Christmas time. Spoiler alert to the staff who are newer here.
We had to tell them.
Yeah, I'm getting the answer.
Just keep
to
it
go.
all for ourselves. Yeah. So score, Mac, 1 to 10. What do you give it?
I'm like a 5.5.
Okay.
I like it, but it wasn't what I expected it to be. So that threw me off.
Okay. Mr. Erik, and this is a bourbon. This isn't a whiskey.
Yeah, good. Yeah, we should make sure we're clear about that.
Yeah. It's a bourbon. It's not a Scotch whiskey, but
it's funny because I actually liked it better before I watered it down, which is weird. It's like there were more. Yeah, I know. For me, that's weird, but it's like there were more of the fruit was coming out earlier, and I've lost that now in the noses. I feel like the nose is really weakened now.
maybe just
after watering.
Did you pour too much water in?
I don't think I put too much water in. I didn't. Maybe I did, but you know, it's on record. It's on camera.
Yeah.
But I like it. And I do like anise, and I like the fruity notes. I like sherry cask stuff. So I'll actually give this a 6.5.
Okay.
I like it.
Okay. Reasonable score. I think I'm gonna go 4.3. I'm not a big bourbon guy. So that's I'm dragging down the curve. But yeah, 4.3 is gonna be my score. It's not bad. It's reasonable for a bourbon. It's some kind of award-winning thing, so my tastes are clearly off of official judges.
Some kind of award-winning, John.
Yeah. One of them award-winning there bourbons.
Yeah.
And whatnot.
I mean, they do have a lot of other stuff on there. They've got some vodkas and some other whiskeys. So
They do a gin?
like it's interesting. Like I'm gonna have to go check this place out. I've heard of them. I just have yet to get down there.
But do they do a gin, Mac? That's what I need to know.
They have ready-to-drink cocktails as well.
Sounds good.
Ooh, that's a peachy drink. I don't know about peach.
Yeah, the nose is
We
still very
should
sweet.
do an on-site tasting thing sometime. We should go to a
Sure.
whiskey bar or
Find
something
someone
and
willing to
do
put
a
up with
flight.
us.
Yeah.
Do you want to take over an area and,
And have a guy with a camera, like
Exactly. In everybody's face? Indeed.
yeah.
Indeed. All right. Boys and girls, that's the score for Resurgent Bourbon Whiskey, Elverson, PA. Load in the questions. What do you got for us? What do you need to know? How can we help you? You are but your humble servants here to answer whatever questions about kilts or Celtic culture that you have. And
Indeed.
I will move said whiskey off of screen and then over to the side.
That trick makes me feel much better about my force powers.
Indeed. Mine are failing.
Are you sure? Are you force sensitive? You sure you ever had force powers?
I don't know. Nobody does what I want, so no. Liam, clean your room. No. Damn it.
Liam, clean your room.
This is the laundry you're looking for.
These aren't the droids you're looking for.
All right. Mr. Erik, while we wait for
Okay.
people to load in.
All right, and we have, just so you know, we did particularly include a couple of questions that are around the newbie level because we knew we'd have some newer people here. And it's one of those times where you got to start getting back to some basics for some people out there. So from YouTube, Jeffrey S. asked us, or said, I was wondering if the kilt historically has been worn all the time, or was it more just for ceremonial dress?
Historically?
Mm-hmm. Or nowadays.
Okay.
I don't think he means a long time ago. But.
Yeah. Yes. The it's both and neither. Well, I'm not neither, but the kilt was everyday clothing. The Phelan Moor was everyday clothing. People in the Highlands wore it. Period. Current day over in Scotland, the kilt, the Phelan beg, the half kilt as we wear it now, a tailored garment, is not really worn daily. You're seen kind of as eccentric if you're wearing a kilt all the time over in Scotland today. But it's kind of their equivalent to a tuxedo. They will wear it for fancy dress. They will wear it for weddings and important events and that kind of thing. But it's not something that they generally wear every day. Now, there are people who do. There are guys who want to go to the rugby match and wear their kilt to represent Scotland. And there's Tartan Army kind of thing. Those people wear it on a more regular basis or to different types of events. They don't just keep it, collecting dust in the closet for formal only. But no, it's not something that you generally, it's not like you're going to go over to Scotland and walk down the Royal Mile and see 897 guys in kilts. You're going to see a few buskers. You're going to see some guys in some of the tourist hat kind of shops.
It's the 800 tourists
You'll see
kilts.
tourists wearing kilts, yes.
switching down the Royal Mile there.
But it's not generally worn as everyday kind of clothing. But that doesn't mean you can't. It just means that it's that's just what's done or not done.
I think it has increased. I think that as we are part of that trend happening in the U.S., I do think that the impression I've gotten is that there are more people in the U.K., not just Scotland, but in the U.K. who are wearing kilts on a more daily basis, and we get photos from them, semi regularly. People who just submit photos and stuff are members of the Facebook group that we have, and they're like, "Hey, I'm over in London," or "I'm in Edinburgh," and they're kilting all the time. So it's still kind of I want to be special. This is a niche. This is a fashion forward thing for some of them, or this is I'm really into history kind of a thing. Again, like the eccentric in the classic British sense.
Or I'm really into my heritage.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So they're like Jock
Scott.
Jock Scott.
Yeah,
he's
the Highlands.
Yeah, and
he's near Inverness.
Yeah, and he's been doing this for decades, wearing a kilt all the time, and fishing all the time. But yeah, so I think it is on the uptick, but for your average Joe, your average Sean, it's more of a special occasion thing over there. And I don't know when that trend really. You could probably say that goes back as far as the 19th century, easily.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, because you had with the tartan craze under Victoria, and that really cemented the idea of civilians wearing the kilt more regularly. The further back in time you have, the more it is. The military tradition is the only one that's really mattering, and then you have the clan chiefs for special occasions, and then you go back to mid 18th century and Culloden, and before that, that's where you're back into this is what we wear kind of category. Before the 45, yeah. So that was, as we often mention, that was kind of a watershed stop and restart moment,
Turn it off, turn it on again, kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. Not in a pleasant way, but
I'm being flippant on purpose. The one guy that I'll kind of channel my inner Howie Nicholsby here for a second from 21st Century Kilts. Mm-hmm. He's been quoted as saying that he wants to make the kilts everyday clothing again. That's what it was. That's how it started. Right. And there's no reason to let it just sit in the closet. There's no reason it has to There's no reason it has to just be tartan. Mm-hmm. But to get it out, to wear it more often, and just wear it as part of your everyday clothing. And to us, that's part of what we're doing here, is where we wear a kilt, pretty much every day, but we also are doing it for heritage type reasons. Yeah. So it's a mixture of that and tradition and heritage, kind of all blended into one soup, as it were.
Trying to keep it a living tradition, as well as a really timeless and fun and viable fashion option.
Yep.
So yeah, and Howie comes from that unique background of his family was in the business of creating kilts and is in the business. So he's kind of like the young scrappy rebel saying, "Dad, I don't want to make kilts just for weddings. I want to make kilts for everyone now."
Out of cellophane and snakeskin.
Yeah. Get out of my house! It's not that dramatic.
Yeah.
It's like Dickensian Howie Nicholsby documentary. It's like.
Indeed. Well, hope that helped. Mr. Mac, what do we have coming in?
Well, since today's day first for having us on the TikToks, we have our very, very first
TikTok question
from TikTok.
Whoop whoop.
So the question that comes in from TikTok is, what are your opinions on the black tartan or the black solid alternating pleats?
Black tartan or black solid alternating
I'm gonna guess
pleats.
they're either talking about. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think you're going to the same spot, like a black, like a black and with like a tartan with insets.
Right. I think it's
that's where I was taking that.
Yeah, because there's a number of different ways that we could talk about this. The first is the traditional kilt, like we're wearing now, but in a all black or all solid color, which is a thing. Sometimes done in what's called a shadow tartan, where they basically use the warp and the weft of the weave to show off a pattern using the way the yarn is twisted, right?
Yeah, yarn.
So you basically
right twist versus left twist, making it shine different.
Yeah, so basically there is a tartan pattern there, but you only see it as kind of like a kind of a 3D lighting effect. And those are cool, but I'm guessing they're talking about utility kilts, like from Verilos or other sellers. Verilos is the one I respect the most personally. So that's definitely a modern fashion thing. So
Yeah.
I think I know what you're going to say, but go ahead.
Yeah. What do I think of them? Being, this is my, one man's opinion, period, take it for what it's worth.
Alienate all the TikTok viewers
Exactly.
right now.
I am not a big fan of them in general. It's, I've seen them. There was a company in Canada called Built Kilt. They were part of Burnitz and Struth, I think. And they did them. I don't think they do them anymore. They did an okay job. All the other ones that I've seen are budget kilts. I'll put it that way. And I'm not a big fan of it's not a big fan of it, period. I don't know. Even if it was like, it doesn't matter that it's a budget kilt, and that's not where I'm going with it. It's more, I don't like the look of it. Either do one thing or do the other thing. It's the blending that breaks it for me.
Sorry, I got a throat problem today. Too much phlegm.
Do you need an icebreaker?
I don't know if that will help.
Okay.
I think more whiskey will help.
Fair.
I actually came to kilting from the Utilikilt side of things originally, and so for me, I think they're pretty cool. I question how well they're done. I've said this before. The quality definitely matters. If you're considering purchasing one, absolutely vet whoever you're buying it from. And like I said, the only company that I think does an okay job with it that I trust for a variety of reasons is Verilos. And that's probably who you're thinking of because they're very famous at this point. As a modern, and they have great photography. As a modern fashion thing, they're cool. As a expression of tradition, like your personal heritage, I don't think it's that great. Partially because there's not a lot of tartans available if you want to do a tartan version, and they look so rough and tumble a lot of the time that it's not what I would wear, say, to if I was working a clan tent at a Highland Games. I would not choose that kilt. If I were competing, maybe I'd wear one. But if I'm there to be the representation of the Stuart clan, I'm not going to wear that particular style of kilt. Now, if I'm going to like a special event, like or a parade or something like that, or a gaming convention or something like that, then some of the solid color inset ones, they're pretty awesome looking. They're pretty cool. The issue you're going to find is that they tend to wrinkle easily. They get must easily, and depending on who's making it, if there's any kind of mismatch between the fabric they're using for the color insets and for the solid portion, they can shrink differently when you wash them if you're not careful.
Cotton versus acrylic.
Acrylic blends, it can be an issue. If there's a mismatch like that, then that's the problem. They're cool, but they're kind of they haven't been perfected yet. I'll say that.
Can you dry clean and not have it shrink? That would be my...
I would assume so.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's something that most people who buy them consider.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. Go ahead, Mac.
You'd almost have to figure out how much you're using for the kilt.
Yeah.
Wash both pieces so they're already pre-shrunk. I mean, it just adds more steps to the process.
Yeah. I don't think that the people who are making them are going to necessarily pre-shrink and
they're
pre-wash
not.
everything.
No.
They're not.
Yeah. Now, I'm not anti-utility kilt, for the record. It's one of those where I would just prefer to see if I'm going to have a utility kilt, have a utility kilt. If you're going to have a tartan kilt, have a tartan kilt, and wear them separately. Where I think Americans fall into the trap is often we try to wear all of the things and dog whistle to every single group that we want to dog whistle to, or nod to, without using the term dog whistle, just to try to put it all in the same outfit. Versus I would rather, if I'm going to be working outside and I want to wear a utility kilt, I would wear a utility kilt. And then if I'm going to be going out somewhere or to work or to a nice dinner, I would wear a traditional kilt. I wouldn't. Different horses for different courses.
Yeah, I think it's simpler than that. I think it's that people like them because it's not as...
It's both.
Well, it's not as boring as a traditional now utility kilt because it is more than just a solid color, but still has a cool rock and roll vibe to it. It's got a rebel vibe to it, and that's why it's fun. It's fun wear. I see people wear things like this all the time at like club nights and stuff. It's just it's super cash. It's a casual thing. It's not a great heritage tradition representation, but
Agreed.
Just watch your money if you decide to invest in one. Would be my main practical advice.
Agreed. All right,
By the way, I'd like if somebody on TikTok could do me a favor and throw us a comment to whether or not you can pick up any of Mac's voice on the microphone we're using, because he is behind the mic that's playing us. I don't know if you're missing part of the discussion when he's on. So just let us know.
On the test, we could.
Oh, you could?
Yep.
Okay.
Indeed.
Cool.
So, but still, let us know. All right, Mr. Erik.
My turn.
Yes.
Okay. Aaron Lucier, or Lucier, I don't know how you pronounce it, asked us, this is another pragmatic one for newer people perhaps, how do you make the transition from an event/holiday kilt-wearing person to a daily kilt-wearing person? That is, besides buying more kilts. How do you make that leap from making it
Okay, let's
make it a regular part of your wardrobe?
Let's tie one hands behind our backs on this. So let's say that the person has what's a reasonable number for someone to have that wants to wear a kilt every day without breaking the bank on, like, I'm not going to say like 40 kilts. What's a reasonable number for a person to have to start to wear kilts every day? What do you think?
If they're wool, I would say anywhere between 2 and 4. If it's wool, because that's going to behave differently and not retain stains and odors the way, other kilts would.
So let's say 4. So maybe a couple acrylic 1, PV 1, and 2 wool ones. Whatever. So I would say this. 1, if you're about to buy the kilts or you're buying the kilts, try to choose one with different color palettes. If you're going to buy some universal tartans, maybe buy a Kilts and Culture like I have on here, which is more browns and grays, and then buy like an Isle of Skye, which is a purple and light green. Buy your clan tartan in a modern color palette, buy your clan tartan in an ancient color palette. So you have different things to do with it. Next thing I would say is, if you're going to get maybe get a couple vests. So a tweed vest or 2 to be able to change up outfits without, change up parts of the outfit without changing the kilt necessarily. And then I would say different color shirts. So if you're going to wear, like, Kilts and Culture, the one I have on, I could wear a red shirt to pick up the red stripe that's in it. I could wear a gray shirt. I could wear a brown shirt. I could wear a black shirt. So a few different shirt colors would work with one kilt. That will kind of add to the dexterity, the flexibility of your wardrobe. That would be my right out of the gate thoughts.
That makes sense because, I mean, basically, and we've said before, the kilt is kind of the linchpin of your wardrobe, or can be. It can be, you can wear one kilt for everything from hiking on the Appalachian Trail all the way up to going to your sister's wedding. One good kilt can do anything. So building in simple, easy to mix and match accessories like that, I mean, you don't even need another sporran. I would say that maybe having 2 sporrans, like one for kicking around in every day, like you don't care if you beat it up, and then one for nicer occasions would be something to invest in. And I'd say a few pairs of kilt hose. So you have some cooler ones like cotton ones, and then a few wool ones for cooler weather. And, fresh socks are just generally a good thing. So
I'm going to add, minorly disagree and add. I would say minimum 2 sporrans, if not 3. 2, meaning one dressier one day wear one. And I would also say adding a brown one and a brown belt. Because then you can mix up the leather colors. You can mix up your footwear. You can mix up a few different things just by changing the leather colors.
I'm being a little budget conscious with my recommendations at the moment, I think.
Understood.
I'm trying to keep in mind, like, if you want to do this for as little pain as possible.
Agreed.
But 3.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the maximum versatility out with the minimum number of things.
Right.
So I would have a black day sporran, a brown day sporran, and a simple dress sporran, or a semi-dress or something like that. You have a semi-dress sporran on there.
Yep.
So
New.
Fancy, so shiny.
Super fancy.
So yeah, I would
straight.
3 different sporrans, maybe a brown and a black belt. And shirts.
Basically.
That's the key.
Yeah. And I would say, with the shirts, I would say my go-to a lot of time is solid color shirts, even like t-shirts. I have a lot of basic, just plain black and heather gray and brown t-shirts, so that basically doesn't matter what I grab, because the kilt is going to do the talking, the sporran is going to do the talking. Maybe I'll have a pendant or something that I wear, but I'm not worried about like a print or something on the shirt, or a pattern on the shirt clashing with the tartan of whatever kilt I'm wearing. So that's having some very basics, like the ladies call a capsule wardrobe, if you will, is a good plan.
Yeah, and remember the damn it, now I forgot my point.
Damn it!
It's
all my fault.
But no, I got my point back. When you wear a kilt, especially if you're going to wear your kilt regularly, whether it's every single day or 3 days a week or more, you are going to be known as the guy in the kilt. So you want to make sure that you're not wearing the same outfit. Like if I wore this shirt and this kilt every Wednesday, and then the same shirt and the same other, my purple shirt and an Isle of Skye kilt on Thursday, and you're wearing the same thing every single week, you become known for the outfit, and then it just kind of becomes boring. So adding in different shirts, different accessories to the outfit keeps it a little fresher. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Although there is a school of thought out there that says you should just dress like a cartoon character, anime character. Just have one outfit that you always look good in, and just that's what you wear all the time.
Did you see the picture? There was a school teacher, like a 3rd grade teacher or something, who wore the same shirt, tie, and like sweater vest or something every year for his 40-year career, and then he put all the pictures together so it was
holy cow!
Oh, it was beautiful.
No, I haven't seen that.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes, it was.
That's
absolutely was.
A man who has freed his mind from making mundane decisions.
No, that's commitment.
Yeah.
This is my school photo
that's
picture.
Crazy.
Yes, indeed. I'll have to find that and insert it.
Yeah.
All
okay.
Right. Very good. All right, Mr. Mack, next question.
All right. I feel like this is a good question.
I feel like it's a good question.
No,
I hope it's a good question.
The way I was thinking about it is something that we see a lot in production where we have to call somebody back because of this. Troy is asking, what is the worst mistake you can make when measuring yourself for a kilt?
Screwing up the length. If you...
Yep.
Max just hard nodding back there. Yes. There's a reason on our website and there should be on any kilt maker website, just for the record, this isn't just about us, where they ask you for your height, because there is a general ratio between the length of your kilt, where what your length of your kilt should be, and your height. Your kilt should be essentially 1/3 the length of your body. So if you are 6 foot tall, 72 inches, 1/3 of that is 24. Period. So if you're 6 foot tall, you should be about a 24-inch length when you're wearing your kilt, about 2 inches above the belly button to the middle of the knee. And for every 3 inches on the body, i.e. 6'3", you should be about 25. 5'9", you should be about 23. Now, people are built differently. Like Erik has a longer torso and shorter legs. So his kilt he wears his kilt a tiny bit lower because, he has a long torso. Yep. So if he's 6 foot tall, his kilt length might be 23.5 or 23 versus 24. So there are some variations or some variables there, but generally speaking, that is the biggest mistake we see most often. But that's also why we put the height measurement in there as a requirement, because if you're off more than a half inch, or if it's an inch off, we're going to call you or email you and say, hey, are you sure? Mm-hmm. Because I can't stretch this and make it longer if it's too short for you. Yep. This is custom. Yep. Don't screw it up. The other one I would say is which we can't really account for, is the waist measurement. It's pulling it snug enough so that it won't just fall down, but it's still comfortable to wear. You don't want your love handles on the side kind of flexing in where you gotta suck in the whole time you're wearing the kilt. But at the same time, you don't want it so loose that it just falls down to your ankles. So that would be the secondary thing, but that's also why kilts have straps with 5 holes spanning about 3 inches. Right. So
yeah.
Thoughts?
I'm not going to add anything except that it's measure twice, cut once. Exactly. Just be careful of all your measurements whenever possible. Do them more than once. Get a second pair of eyes on them. You get somebody who you trust, who can help you take them, when you do it. There are various tips and tricks for taking your measurements. Use all of them. I used to recommend the towel trick to people all the time. and you can describe that. But there are various ways to make sure you can feel confident before you place the order. Now, that said, again, a good kilt maker, whether it's an individual artisan or a company like ours, should be available to consult with you if there's a problem. And sometimes I feel like we should have like a big red button and a fire alarm down in sales. There's like, there's like, we got a call back on length. And the length alarm goes off. But because it is a very common mistake, because it's hard to do, and most people are not used to measuring themselves. The one thing I would say is, do not go to a regular tailor shop. Don't go to like Men's Warehouse or someplace. You stole my next point. And ask them to take your measurements, because they don't know what they're doing.
And they don't care. It's if you go to Men's Warehouse or something like that, you're going to say, hey, here's the measuring instructions from this kilt company's website. Can you take my measurements? And oftentimes they're going to go, yeah, sure. And, basically read it over and go, yeah, I know what I'm doing. And they're just going to measure. And you're not buying it from them. You're asking them a favor. So if you do this, offer to throw them a couple bucks as a tip, if nothing else. But what we have found most often is when there's a problem with the length or a problem with the waist, when we call somebody and say, hey, are you sure about this measurement? They'll be like, oh, of course I'm sure. I went to Today's Man and they measured me, and that's my immediate record scratch moment. Stop. Okay, throw those measurements out. Do it the way we asked you to do it on the website. Don't trust what they're saying, because they are not invested in the final product like you are. And that's not saying they're bad people. They're measuring you the way they normally measure, not the way that we're necessarily asking them to measure.
They're going to make their assumptions. They're going to use their shorthand, and they're going to measure you like they're measuring for a pair of pants.
Yep. So yes, absolutely, measure it the way we ask you to measure. Now, what Erik was alluding to earlier about the kilt towel measurement, or the bath towel, not kilt towel, the bath towel or the beach towel, is for measuring length. If you're 6 foot tall and your measurement should be about 24, take a beach towel, take a bath towel, go into your bedroom, stand about 10 feet back from the mirror in a pair of boxer shorts, and fold the bath towel or the whatever over to about 24 inches, top to bottom. Then wrap that around you, holding the top of the bath towel about 1.5, 2 inches above the belly button, and see where it hits you on the knee. If it's hitting you bottom of the knee, then kind of scooch it down a little bit. If it's the top of your knee, scooch it up a little bit. I was actually doing the physical measurement there too. That was accurate for the record.
One scooch.
Exactly. Yeah. But scooch it up or down a little bit so that you are getting it to exactly where it needs to be. Then lay it flat and measure the bath towel top to bottom, and you'll get a better physical representation of how long the kilt will be on your body.
Yeah, and the trick with that is make sure you don't stand too close to the mirror so you don't get an optical illusion. You want, like you said, like 10 feet or so if you can do it. Yeah. And again, get a second pair of eyes on it. Get somebody who can look at you and say, that looks a little long, dude, and get some backup.
Yep, indeed.
There you go.
Cheers. So is that Mr. Mac or was that you?
Oh, that was Mr. Mac.
Mac? All right, Mr. Erik.
I'll be curious if we have any other questions from the clock app, as they call it. All right. It's taking me a little time to read this, but Mark Filippo asks us, what are your thoughts on wearing a kilt in Scotland? Basically, he's going on a walking tour, a hike of the West Highland Way this coming fall. He's going with a friend who doesn't really want him to wear the kilts because he's afraid that everybody will assume he's a tourist, and I guess his friend is feeling like it's going to be embarrassing somehow. Doesn't want him to stand out. However, Mark wears his kilt as much as possible. It's pretty much a normal part of his wardrobe, so he really wants to wear it for this hike. Should he or shouldn't he?
Sure. When traveling in Scotland, we'll do traveling as well as specifically hiking. You're going to be going on the West Highland Way. When did he say September he's going?
September.
Did he say when in September or no?
September 15th at 2:30 p.m.
Fair. I deserve that. The one thing to worry about in Scotland when you are hiking is the time of year when you're going. They have what are called midges, which are small biting flies, a little bit bigger than gnats, but they will bite you a lot. And when they find you, they will destroy you. So you want to make sure that if you're wearing a kilt, you're not getting midgie bites in the nether regions where you really don't want to be bitten by mosquito or by midges. So that's one thing. And I think their midgie season goes like summer through the end of September-ish.
Yeah, like basically all summer. It's like April
So,
or May it starts,
yeah.
and it just goes.
Indeed. So bug spray is your friend. Now, if you are going to Scotland and you're going to be wearing a kilt, will you be seen as a tourist? Yes.
Sure.
You are. You are a tourist in Scotland. But I would say this, it doesn't really matter. If you are comfortable, now taking your buddy's opinion out of it for a sec, or your buddy's concerns, if hiking the West Highland Way in a kilt is a bucket list item for you, you want to do this thing before you die, you've always thought about doing it, and you want to wear the kilt to connect with your heritage in the land of your forefathers, and all that is in your head, then do it. Now, you're going with somebody else, so you don't want to be, dismissive of his thoughts on it. If it is someone who you've known since you were 2, and this is a long-time friend, and you want to travel the world together, and this is one of the stops, then I would say have a discussion about it with him. Like, sit him down and be like, all right, dude, look, here's the deal. I want to wear a kilt in Scotland on the West Highland Way, at least some of the way. What are your concerns? And actually get into it with him, because you're going to be, 10 to 15 days to hike the thing.
Yeah,
so
it takes a while.
If you're going to be hiking with somebody, you don't want him, anxious or freaking out about it the whole time. And you could probably find a common ground. Let's say you wear it for a couple of the days, but not all the days. You want to, I would say, definitely wear, the pants you can zip off to make them into shorts. I'd say bring, 2 pairs of pants or, a couple pairs of shorts, as well as a kilt if you're going to be wearing a kilt at all. I would probably recommend a synthetic kilt versus a wool one, potentially, because for drying capabilities
And lightness.
and that kind of thing. But yeah, and bug spray. But outside of that, it's just communication with your buddy about it. Will you run into people on the trail? Yes, you will. And if you're in a kilt, they'll probably talk to you or ask you where you're from, and you're going to have a nice, friendly conversation, just like you would if you were in pants.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the people who are on those trails are tourists anyway. I mean, not just tourists from the United States. Scotland is one of the most popular tourist destinations in the world. So you will have an international experience going there and meeting people from all over. So I think the as far as your friend is concerned, yeah, have the talk. But as far as his concerns about embarrassment, it depends on how you behave just as a person. I mean, the bottom line is don't be an ugly American. Basic rules of thumb that we will ugly American, that we recommend to people who are going over there is don't assume people want to talk about your kilt. Don't assume people want to hear your entire life story or the history of your family line back to Robert the Bruce, because you know you're related to him, right? Don't impose upon them taking their time with something that they may or may not actually care about. And don't ask questions where, like, you assume they know everything there is to know about Scottish history or clan history or Highland dress or any of that. Just be chill. Treat people just like you would on the street areas. If somebody says, hey, nice kilt, say, yeah, thanks a lot. And if they ask you what clan or something, then you can say, but just keep it light.
That's where I was going to go. It depends on the level of conversation.
Right.
If somebody just walks past you and says something, don't usurp their time in the same way you wouldn't want them to do it to you.
Right.
But at the same time, if 2 minutes into the discussion, they're asking you, hey, where are you from? From the U.S. I'm from California. Oh, why are you here? Oh, I wanted to go to the West Highland Way and see where my family was from. Oh, that's awesome. Where are they from? If they start opening the door to a discussion, and they're generally friendly people, found the same thing in Scotland as they did in Ireland. They all, as soon as they hear your accent, they want to talk to you about it. So just be a good representative. Right. And if they want to talk to you about it, then sure, fine, talk about it. But, that's it. Just be chill and cool.
Yeah, and don't bullshit people. And if you're a sincere student of the culture, let it be known that you are a sincere student of the culture. It's just, I had something else I was going to say, and I can't remember what it was. So it must have been really good.
Mac, you got something.
What do you, we talked about the kilt, wearing that or not wearing that. What about bringing pipes? Let's say I'm not Piper Alley, and I'm
You definitely are not Piper Alley.
Yeah,
Your beard is a little bit more lush than
Yeah,
I know.
we just talked to her on Zoom Monday,
Oh, okay.
and you don't look like her.
No, not at all. But I don't have her. I don't have that talent as good as she does.
Right.
But I still want to bring my pipes along with me when I go on this trip. Or maybe I am as good as her, and I can knock them out of the park. Like, what are you guys' thoughts on that?
I'd be extremely careful with transporting them.
Yes.
But that goes without saying. And if you're a piper, you already know this, and you should be able to make your decision based on how you're gonna, how you're gonna handle that. The only frame of reference I have is our friend Sarah Jo Fegley, who is a drummer, actually, not a piper, but very accomplished and very talented, Highland musician. And she went over, and she was going to be wearing a kilt and tweeds, and she felt very trepidatious about it. But she got immediately she got very positive reactions, and because she was palling around with fellow musicians, she had a fantastic time. She had a great time. So I think the bottom line is, again, know the crowd you're with. Don't be like, I'm here at the junction of the trails at the memorial of the burials at Culloden, and I'm going to whip out my pipes and play. That's invasive. But if you're hanging out with other musicians, or if you're going to, like if you're going to Ireland or something, if you're going to a pub and it's a session, and you ask, hey, would you mind if I do a tune with you guys? That could be a fantastic experience. Don't assume that you need to be the center of attention.
And
Bottom line.
Jumping off of your Sarah Jo Fegley
Hi, Sarah.
Now I see. Now you made me lose my point. We're going to be losing points right and left. Too much caffeine. If it depends whether you wear a kilt in Scotland. I will say this. It also depends on your personal tolerance and your own personal constitution. If you are the type of person who is super nervous about it and you're not sure, and one errant comment, bad negative comment is going to ruin your whole day, even if you get 5 positive comments, then maybe you don't do it, because if you're a little thin-skinned on it. If you have I don't give a shit type of attitude, this is what I wear, this is my thing, and you just go about life being normal in your kilt, then fine. The thicker your skin, the better you are, because yes, you're going to get called out to some degree on, hey, you're wearing a kilt, why? Or where's the event, or whatever. And if you have an American accent, they might want to talk to you about it. But you may, in the same way you're going to get the errant negative comment about it here in the U.S., you may still get it over there, like, oh, tourist, I bet. But at the same time, you're going to get some other people who are like, oh, how long you over for? Where are you going? Where are you staying? What bars have you been to? What restaurants have you been to? How long in Edinburgh? And people will want to talk to you about it. So you're going to get the same, like I say, and we'll bleep this later. There are assholes in every culture. It doesn't matter. You're going to get cool people who are nice, positive folks, and then you're going to get jerks.
Yeah.
It's life.
Pretty much.
The odds are the same. Yep. It doesn't matter what country you go to. So if you can deal with it here, you can deal with it there. You just have to realize that there's the extra weirdness layer of you're a stranger in a strange land. But if you can get past that and back to your normal, I wear kilts every day, that's just who I am, then fine, have at it.
I'm going to have Iron Maiden's Stranger in a Strange Land now stuck in my head
You're
the
welcome.
entire rest
You're
of the
welcome.
afternoon.
I did that.
I love that song. Yeah, basically. Back to the technical aspect of the kilt hiking. If it weren't for the midgies, I would say go for it, because you probably already know this, but hiking a kilt is fantastic.
Yeah.
I would question what sporran you should take with you on this trip. Make it a light one, make it the one you don't care about, etc., etc. Don't necessarily hike in, wearing the sporran at the same time, depending on how you're loading out. Advice we've given in other videos, basically, about hiking a kilt.
Yep.
The midgies freak me out, though, man.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that.
Or ticks. I don't know how many ticks they have in Scotland.
I don't think they have ticks. Ticks really freak me out.
Yeah. Nope.
Or if you're a little further south of us, then you've got jiggers.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe a pair of running leggings, which are becoming all the rage, might actually be a worthwhile thing to bring just in case.
I wouldn't do leggings, but maybe like a pair of bike shorts under the kilt.
No, I'm talking like to protect your legs also, your lower legs.
Yeah. It is what it is.
I don't know. You'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But absolutely, I think you
Bug
should do
spray.
it. I think you help your friend realize it's going to be okay. Go for it, and then send us some pictures.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to live vicariously through you.
All right, Mr. Mac.
All right. So,
And I forgot to say earlier, if we know where they are from, tell us where they are from. TikTok versus YouTube versus Facebook. If you know. If not, it's not the end of the world.
The form of the plat.
Yes.
form of the plat. Well, would you like to go back to the clock?
I'll do any.
Let's go back to the clock for a sec.
Okay.
I don't. Unfortunately, Matt isn't letting me know the name of the person that's coming from. So we'll blame Matt on this. So, unknown person from TikTok is asking, how can you sit with a kilt without wrinkling the pleats?
Classic.
Yep.
Classic question.
Yep.
Classic concern.
How I sit in a kilt without wrinkling the pleats is basically stand in front of the chair, then kind of bend your knees somewhat. So you're going to stand about 6 inches in front of the chair and bend your knees so that the back of the pleats basically hit the front of the chair. And then you're going to,
Swoop in.
with one hand, I'm going to do two things. You're going to protect your modesty as well as, keep the pleats reasonably smooth. You're going to put your one hand on the sporran, one hand on the chair, and get your butt as low as you can get it. And you're going to basically drag your pleats back into the chair. Let me demonstrate.
Ta-da!
So, yeah, it basically you just, get your knees down a little bit, get your butt a little bit lower, and then you drag your pleats back. You're all sorted.
Yeah. Another one I like is doing the using the back of your hand to sweep as you go. You can just do a like that as you go, and that helps. It is not nearly as much of a problem if you're on a smooth, flat, or small surface like a bar stool or something, I would say. If it's a big, comfy, if it's the easy chair at your grandpa's house, then, and you got that, they got the velour kind of finish, and your wool is just gonna stick to that. That's annoying.
Or car seat.
Or car seats. But either way you can do it. The other thing is the material of your kilt will respond to wrinkling and pressing like that for different lengths of time in different ways. Wool kilts deal with it a lot better, and if you get a little bit of a wrinkle in it, chances are once you're up and walking around again in the course of the day, it's going to calm down, and the wrinkles will fall out. If it's a cotton kilt,
or
acrylic, then the wrinkles are going to stay more easily.
Yep.
So,
agreed.
Yeah, but you can do it. Practice a little bit at home. We always say practice this stuff at home until you feel confident, so you don't have to second guess yourself when you're out in the world dealing with the muggles and whatnot. So.
Indeed.
Yep.
Mr. Mac, that was a quick one. Let's do another one.
Sure.
Well, one thing we haven't done yet is we haven't said what tartans we all are wearing.
Oh, we were supposed to do that when you came and got your whiskey. I thought that was going to be the new way.
Yes, this is the way.
Very sorry. We'll do that now.
So,
Mr. Mac, what are you wearing back behind the camera over there?
I have the red Hackle.
Red Hackle. With the red fringe.
Mm-hmm.
And the red hat and the red undershirt.
Yeah.
Mac is a matching.
And
fool. You know what, dude? Come on and show them, because this is such a cool kilt. This is awesome. This is a historical design.
For the record, if you want red fringe on your kilts, talk to Mac. He would love to do it. It's not a pain in the ass at all.
No,
look at
it's
that.
Fine.
That's cool.
And if you really want, look, they're even red.
Oh, Jesus, dude.
But the cool. Yeah, why don't you tell them where the red Hackle, where that tradition comes from, real quick.
Or
just for fun. Or who
wove it.
Yeah.
It's House Edgar, I believe. But it was designed. It's black watch pattern with the center stripe all turned red to honor all those who fought under the red Hackle. So all the black watch units, anybody that fought under the crown, it's to honor them. So
nice. Yeah, it's pretty
cool.
Awesome. Yeah,
awesome. Did anybody do other people who do the red fringe, or is that just something you came up with?
Something that I decided.
Mac just wanted to be fancy.
Nice.
Yeah, that's cool. Fancy. I wanted to be special.
I like it.
Yes, Lucas, I'm looking at you. I wanted to be special.
That's like my Glendower kilt with the purple fringe on it.
Exactly.
All right. I've got the Philadelphia Police and Fire Pipe Band tartan. It's one of the brighter ones I own. I like it. Haven't worn it in a little while. So, blue's my favorite color. I just love this tartan, and they're cool guys.
And you are
Cool band.
totes adorbs.
Thanks.
Indeed. Today, as I said earlier, I am wearing the Kilts and Culture tartan that we designed for our show as well as our Facebook group. If you are on Facebook, please go check out the Kilts and Culture Facebook group. Very, very cool, welcoming, chill group of people. We are not into drama. We are not into bullshit. We are not into politics. It's just about our love of kilts and Celtic culture. That's the point.
Right.
Very good. Mr. Mack.
All right. So we have Hamish. He's just getting into kilting, and he's confused. There's lots of things, lots of different tartans going on for his clan. He's wondering what that's all about. Why is there so many different
What's the deal?
variations?
What's the deal with all the different tartans? Does he say what clan he's in, or does he have his last name, or no?
It's Hamish Kelly. So
Kelly.
Kelly. Okay.
Fair. Well, Kelly isn't a clan; it's more of an Irish one, but
it could be going up on the side too.
Yeah.
Some families have more than one tartan. Some families don't. There are some instances. I'll use Stuart because it's an easy one, where you have the Stuart Royal, you have the Stuart Hunting, you have Black Stuart, you have Stuart Dress, you have several variations basically of the same tartan. You just for Stuart Royal, you replace the red part with black, you have Stuart Black. You replace the black with white, you have Stuart Dress. Stuart Hunting is entirely different, but at the same time, it's a green. It's more, good for hunting in, which is kind of a BS marketing thing, but that's an aside. But you also have Stuart of Appin. You have Stuart of Ardshiel. You have Stuart of Athol. You have multiple Stuarts from different regions in Scotland, which have their own unique tartans, saying that, yes, we are a Stuart, but we are from this particular area or that particular area. So you have different variations in that way as well. That's basically it for that. Now, there are other clans that have one particular tartan, like Lindsay will have one tartan. MacNeil of Barra will have one tartan. But it's, that's their one. You'll have ancient, modern, muted, weathered, potentially variants of the tartan, but it's one, tartan set design.
Mm-hmm. Those color variants are basically up to you to choose. There's no wrong or right one. They're just basically the mill's giving us more options and appealing to fashion sensibility. So if you like the weathered version of your tartan, go for it. If you like the hunting version of your tartan, go for it. The larger your clan is, especially the super large ones like Stuart, of course, there will be times when a fashion tartan has been generated based on your clan's tartan. And so you want to, if you want to represent if I were, as a Stuart, I really like Stuart Black. But if I was going to wear Stuart, again, at the clan tent at the Highland Games, I'd probably go with the Royal Red. Because that's feels more official to me, you know what I mean? But nobody's going to fault you for choosing an alternate of the tartan. One thing you can do is check with your clan society, assuming they have an online presence, see if anybody has an opinion. Sometimes the opinions get
muddy or heated.
I was going to say vehement, passionate, but there might be something where somebody says, yeah, the clan lord has said that this is the official one for the clan. Everything else is just for fun, but should not be considered a representation of the clan. But chances are you've got a couple of different versions of the clan tartan, like Rocky was saying, based on color or based on region or based on just somebody said they wanted to have one, like a hunting tartan. You'll also have district tartans, which may apply to your family history. And with a name like Kelly, it may be there's an Irish county tartan that also applies to your family history. So as intimidating as it might be, you've got a lot of options. Don't let it get to you too much. Don't overthink it. Trust your instinct with getting the one that appeals to you aesthetically the most. You're going to be fine. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. And there's no, to a degree, there's no wrong answer. It's
right.
You go into it, you say, okay, if your clan is Stuart, then okay, fine. I am a Stuart, so I have these four to choose one between, Royal Stuart, Stuart Hunting, Stuart Black, and Stuart Dress. There's no, oh my God, you got the Stuart Black. What are you doing? Oh, the vapors. Oh, there's none of that. I turned into Mickey Mouse for some reason, but there's none of that.
Hello, folks.
Choose a Stuart. There's none of that, but it's just a matter of you reach the point where you can, death by committee. You can overthink it to a degree. I am very guilty of this myself on a lot of things. Ask my marketing team. But no, it's at some point you just go, okay, it's between these two. Which one do I like better? That one.
Yeah. Yep. You're going to be fine.
Yes. So let it be said, so let it be done. Exactly.
Okay, my turn?
Yes, sure.
All right.
Oh, wait, before we do that.
It's that time, isn't it?
It's that time. We've missed it for the last 2 months. Now.
Hunter Kogel is a professional historic garb maker located in West Virginia. He has been reenacting since he was 10. He's also been wearing kilts since he was 10. They're initially not related. He basically did Civil War. A lot of the images you're going to see right now are actually him and his spouse, and also members of his units and things. He and his wife have been making historical garb for the market since about, I think it's 2007. Yeah, so quite some time. And that's a far cry from what he thought he was going to be doing for a living, which he was a ranch hand and cowboy at one point, a construction worker, a pilot car driver. There you go, Mac. He has a degree in history and he's working on his doctorate. But he and his wife actually met at a Highland Games, fell in love over the course of doing reenacting, initially U.S. Civil War, and it kind of evolved into doing this for a living. His work is impeccable, if I may say so. He said that basically it's not the making of the stuff that he loves the most, it's actually the research that goes into it first. It's looking at the extant garments and the records and the information we have and piecing it together and trying to get into the heads of those people and figure out what their methodology was for how they made the stuff. They had wanted to do Jacobite reenactment for a long time, but had a hard time finding quality resources stateside for it. And so that was kind of kicked off him doing Jacobite 1745 kit as one of the main things he does. So he's actively out there. You can commission something from him, but there's probably a wait because I suspect he's pretty popular. And I was going to say his advice for anybody who's getting into this is for anybody who's interested in doing living history out there. Above all else, do your research before you buy. Buy right first and you'll not have to buy again later. Books are worth their weight in gold. Reenacting is about representing what we know, not what we suppose is possible, which I really liked. Representing what we can prove is done rather than simply guessing or imagining. Supporting what you know with actual evidence rather than the sort of images that have been drilled into us by the media. So basically, measure twice, cut once with your research if you're getting into that. So Hunter really impressed me. I would like to feature more people in the living history scene, of course, as we go forward. But here's to you, Hunter.
Yes.
Good luck with the business.
Slanja. Mr. Mac, bring yourself in there.
I'm in here now.
For those who don't know, Mr. Mac has, what's the name? Blighty Corner?
Blighty Corner.
Yep.
Blighty Corner.
Yes, Mr. Mac is also a reenactor of several different things, and has his own side company, so to speak, doing that kind of stuff. And a lot of that, what he said, I'm like, oh.
Sounds like Mac.
Yeah. sounds like Mac. Yeah.
Different era of specialization. Am I right? I mean, mostly.
Yeah, he's doing a lot earlier time period than even that I'm doing. But yeah, I know you said about him being busy. I can imagine him being extremely busy right now. It seems like the Jacobite Rising stuff has taken off and it has become a really popular. I know a lot of guys that have switched over from doing other time periods to that time period now.
Really?
So, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, they just did an event at Fort Loudon. They just did an event out there that was apparently really good. So
interesting, because I thought World War I was the hot ticket right now. Or is that dying down?
It goes in
past
spurts.
the 100-year anniversary.
Yeah,
right.
For the anniversary it was big. Now it's kind of tapering down a little bit, and then we'll see. Hopefully we'll see an uptick in Rev War here over the next couple years. Now that we're getting close to another anniversary there, so
another anniversary.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Like a sesquicentennial thing or something.
Sesquisquiditentacle. Sesquisquiditentacle. Right.
There'll be no spelling competition after that.
Not at all.
Spelling is a modern convention, Matt. Standardized spelling is modern.
I was just told to spell it or write it how it sounds. So
Okay.
Nope.
Why? Look at my emails.
I will not throw. I'm going to throw Mac under the bus a tiny bit and say that he has occasionally, for customers of this company, made historically accurate kilts. So once in a while, we're able to undertake a project like that. Talk to us if you are looking for something like that, and absolutely check out Blighty Corner. Is it better to find you on Facebook? Probably.
But right now, yeah. And there's an Etsy store, but there's not a whole lot up there right now.
Right.
And what is
Hunter-
Hunter's?
I don't.
Does he have a company name?
He doesn't have a company name. I think basically the best way to contact him is through Facebook.
Okay.
And
Go
Hunter,
to the Facebook group.
let me know.
Kilts and Culture.
I'll get more information. I'll get more information and post that in descriptions later.
There you go. Done. Lovely.
Cool.
All right. Erik? Maybe?
What?
Who's next?
Me?
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Why not?
One of you. Somebody say things at me.
Jeremy W. Forsyth has a problem. He basically, due to COVID, the Glasgow Highland Games in Kentucky have had to close after running for 32 years solid. And this has a lot of people upset, including Jeremy. He's asking us, how could a person or a group of people go about reviving these games? How do you bring back a popular Highland Games event from the dead?
Do we know how big the Glasgow Games in Kentucky were?
I do not offhand.
Okay.
Mac can maybe hit the Google machine while we're talking. He can tell us. But size definitely matters. No joke intended.
Yes. I see what you did there.
Yeah, that wasn't really supposed to be a joke.
How do you revive a games that have gone out? I don't know if you can, but here's some thoughts. One, reviving it is... I'll sound jerkish saying this, but I'll say it anyway. It's a bit presumptuous to know that, or to think that you can run it better than they could run it. You may be able to get their mailing list and kind of like scale it back some, or do a smaller version of it. But I don't know if a full revival will, right out of the gates, is going to work. The larger the games are, the more is involved in putting on the games. We did a very small, it wasn't games, it was a festival.
It's a festival.
Street fair / festival in Phoenixville when we were over there. We ran that with a guy who actually ran Celtic festivals. We ran it together with him, Bill Reed. And that, for me, was an extreme learning experience of what actually goes into putting on a full festival. Because it's not just like, hey, let's have a big party and people will show up. It's, finding sponsors. It's getting permission from the town or township. It's about finding porta potties. It's about getting food vendors and kilt vendors and all kinds of, Irish and Scottish vendors. It's about finding the musicians. It's about setting up stages. It's about finding equipment too, so that they can make, music on the stage. Right. So there's a lot more that goes into it than a lot of people realize, just kind of that enjoy the festival on the day for what it is. I mean, we would literally spend months and months, planning ahead of time. You have to start 6 months before the festival to start planning up for all the contingencies and thinking about all the different stuff. And then when it gets down to crunch time, something always goes wrong, or it's going to rain, or you have to figure out parking, or something you didn't think about. So it's a lot more difficult than a lot of people realize. So I would say this. I wouldn't necessarily try to revive the games that have already existed, especially if you're brand new to doing this. What I would probably say is start small. Start with your own Celtic festival in the same area. Try to find out, get in touch with the people who ran it. Try to find out, the vendors that went there. Try to find some of the same information to give you a head start, so you're not doing the whole thing from scratch. But at the same time, start smaller and then build it up over time. Because the bigger you get, it's the, mo money, mo problems kind of thing. The bigger you get, the more problems you run into, whether it's police and security for the event, whether, it's all these things that you're like, oh my God, I have to pay police overtime because we're over 5,000 people for the event on a single day. And what am I going to do with this? Where's that money going to come from? That, and the second thing the other thing I would say is find someone, or hopefully you have someone who is invested in it emotionally, who wants to see it through as much as you do. This is a time suck. You need a major amount of commitment from volunteers or from a volunteer or somebody else to help you run it. Because if it's just you doing it, you're going to pull your friggin' hair out.
Yeah.
So
Look what happened to him.
Indeed. So I would say try to find 1 or 2 other people, not too many, because you don't want to have a death by committee where you decide one thing and everyone decides something else. But you want to have a few people that are really, really emotionally invested to make sure it goes on, or a team of volunteers that can help you on the day or make phone calls or, send out flyers or whatever. But there's a lot of things that go into running a festival.
Yeah, I was going to say, definitely start small. I mean, even if your first event turns out to be a little more than a block party, it could be what people really need. It could be the shot in the arm that people like you are looking for. So any effort is better than nothing happening. But absolutely get in touch with as many people, any veterans you can from the old festival or other events you know of, and get some inside skinny on how things work in your region, what are the best tips and tricks, who are the vendors that they've used for various services in the past, who's reliable, who isn't, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Do as much homework as possible and make as many connections as possible, and then build a highly efficient organization for yourself. Like Rocky was saying, you should not have too many people at the top, but you absolutely need to build a dedicated team, and you need to delegate. You need to get to a point where you have one person who's the head honcho, the buck stops here, and then a team of people underneath him or her who can basically be delegated to do certain tasks, and then so forth. My old organization, the Society for Creative Anachronism, had this down to a fine art, but we were basically doing it, everything was volunteer-based. Everything was volunteer-based. And events run all the frickin' time, and they're not intended to earn a profit. I think that's another important factor, is that you're not trying to turn a profit with this. You're trying to break even so you can do it next year. And by virtue of having a massively dedicated volunteer organization, people were able to put together events. From small things like 50 people all the way up to the Penzig War, which is like 12,000. That's a whole nother kit and caboodle. I mean, that's basically a mini city, right there. That's a huge undertaking. But start where you are. Start small. Get the social network going first, and get the homework done first. And it could be good. It could be good. But
2 quick hacks. 2. First, if you have other Celtic festivals within, an hour-ish drive of you, go to other Celtic festivals and talk to vendors that are there, and give them your card or whatever and say, hey, we're going to be putting on an event next year in July. Would you be interested in going? Here's our information. Mm-hmm. Have a website or something that they can see some information. But start by, if you can't get in touch with somebody from the existing organization that just folded, try to reach out that way.
Right.
Same thing with musicians. If you see some really, really cool musicians, either A, go on their website, or B, talk to them at festivals, and, in their off time, don't bother them too much, but, give them your information, see if you can get their information so you know who to contact to book them for your events. Now, the other thing that a lot of people don't think about is the date. When you are running a festival, you have to be concerned both about other Celtic festivals in the area as well as other events in the area.
Yep.
So, for instance, when we ran the Phoenixville Celtic Festival, we did it on May 8th or 10th, whatever it was, the weekend after Mother's Day or right before Mother's Day. And we did it specifically because there weren't any other Celtic festivals right in that weekend in like an hour or 2 hour drive. Now, we tried to make it so that there was something, like if a lot of Celtic vendors will actually kind of travel or tour the country and just go from festival to festival to festival to festival to festival, and in a big van, and take all their stuff with them. So you want to be on the path that if there's one festival an hour north of you the weekend before, and there's another festival an hour south of you the weekend after, you're kind of a little bit more likely to get some of the vendors in that area.
yeah.
Also, make sure that you're not booking things on the same date as another festival or another local event. So when we did Phoenixville, there was something they had called the Dogwood Festival, which was the same weekend every year, and we made sure it wasn't competing with that, because that was the weekend afterwards. We wanted to make sure we weren't competing with that event, or there was a bike race that ended up competing with ours, and that became a problem over time. We had the date first, and then they booked the bike race around us. So it draws people out of the event, or if it's a family of 4, they want to go out and do something on the weekend, and there's a big beer festival that's 15 minutes from your event on the same day, they're going to pull some of your audience to that event, not this event. So if it's a lot, as I said, there's a lot of moving parts involved. So you're trying to make sure you're having as many contingencies and thinking about as many angles as you can to really set your event up for success.
Yeah. I'd say, and you made me think, as you're going and approaching those people, be completely transparent. Say, look, this is a new thing. We know it could be small. We do have these people lined up so far. Just so you know, these are the people who are committed to being there. This is what we don't have. We want to help you enjoy it and get something out of it, but we're not going to BS you and say this is, full-blown, replacement for super grand Highland Games.
Yeah.
You got to be transparent and upfront with everybody you're dealing with. I think that goes without saying.
Yep.
Just in business, but...
And if it's a local event, fundraising with local sponsors is the key. When we did Phoenixville, we talked to the couple different banks in the area. They're always looking to promote local events. We talked to the local hospital. We talked to 2 Irish bars that are essentially on the same block. We talked to a bunch of different businesses and had different tiers of sponsorship opportunities. You want to make it a win-win for everybody. A win for the business for local visibility. You want to make it a win for the entertainers. You want to make it a win for the vendors. You want everybody to win at the event.
Right.
And that is how you have a successful event. As many people feel like they are getting more out of it than they are putting into it, that's how you have an event that is successful and goes on year after year after year.
I think you made some really good points there.
Yeah, I agree.
We got a whole how-to
Man, we need
right
a whole
there.
friggin' list on that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. It's almost like we've done this before.
Yeah. That said, good luck.
Yes.
I hope you can do something.
Yes. It's do not underestimate the amount of work and effort and phone calls that you are going to put into it. It is a lot more work than a lot of people realize.
Yep.
And I won't say it's a thankless job, because on the day you're kind of like the mini celebrity, like, oh, this is awesome, we're having a great time. But you don't get any thanks until the day, and then as soon as it's over, you get nothing until the next year. So it's a lot of work. Yeah. Good luck.
Yep.
Mr. Mack.
All right. We're getting to warmer weather here. So picture sitting on the beach, a chair.
Warmer weather.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Right.
We did for a day. Then the apocalypse came
Yes,
through.
then the skies opened up and
Then a tree fell on my house.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
Dun, 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 dun.
I didn't tell you that. Yeah, I had another
No.
tree come down.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Not directly on the house, but close enough.
Well, let's say you're sitting on a beach.
You're sitting on a beach.
Transported
Toes
to
in
a
the
beach.
sand. You get a little drink with a little umbrella.
A drinky poo.
So TJ is taking us to this tropical vacation, and if he's doing a tropical vacation kilt outfit, what is the perfect outfit for that?
Tropical vacation kilt outfit. Hawaiian shirt, of course.
I was gonna say Hawaiian
Insert-
print
insert-
kilt, of course.
Insert old Ian photo
Yeah.
here. The no, do not wear a Hawaiian shirt with a kilt, please, for the love of God.
Not a tartan kilt, at least.
Yes, fair.
Maybe solid color.
No, it's when I go down to the beach, I will wear generally a linen shirt and a kilt, and it's a much more casual look. I'll wear a pair of never sandals. Never. I will not wear sandals.
You got your
no.
tartan Crocs, though, right?
No. Well, I have a pair of Crocs they're not like Crocs. They're like slip-on, like,
What?
they're like canvas, like beach shoe kind of things. They're not like Crocs.
Are you sure?
Crocs make some nice, like, sneakery looking
Oh,
shoes.
Rocky.
It's not all like, yeah.
Oh, Rocky.
I'll give you a picture of them, or I'll bring it in for us to picture so we can put
Yeah,
this in
you're on
there.
defense now,
Yes.
buddy. You
It's
gotta.
the same, like the Sanooks kind of slip-on shoes or Vans. It's very similar to
Sure,
that.
it is.
Yeah. Look, pal. Anyway, no, it's a much more casual look. It's much, I won't wear a belt necessarily. I will, maybe I might tuck in my shirt if it's a linen kind of flowy-ish shirt, short sleeve generally, and a linen flat cap, and maybe a light, just day sporran. It's just a very a beach vibe, a casual kind of stripped down beach vibe.
You could do that. Yeah, I mean, let me preface this. I hate the beach. I am not into sun. I'm not into sand. I've had
I live in a cave.
I've had some of the worst. Yeah, man, I'd love to live in a cave. Some of the worst sunburns I've ever had have been at the beach. Some of the most traumatic experiences I've had as a parent have been at the beach when my kid is swimming out past the lifeguard, past the buoys, and it's just like, So no, I don't like beaches. I don't, So that said, I would wear sandals because it's sand. It's sand. You need to let the sand go. I would have other shoes ready when I leave the beach, like keep them in the bag, so when you go off to the boardwalk, you can change into some sneakers or a boot, combat boots or something. I think a cotton shirt, a linen shirt, something. It's funny because like out in California and stuff, both men and women will wear what they call cover-ups. These very, very light, very sheer shirts. They're designed basically just to give you something, a little layer, a little bit of protection from the sun. That could actually look pretty hot with a kilt, to be honest. So something very sheer like that could be fun and look pretty cool. I was almost wondering if you could wear a Gabbara shirt with a kilt, but I don't know if that would work.
What's a Gabbara shirt?
A Gabbara is like a Mexican wedding shirt. It's got like the embroidered panels that come down the front, and sometimes it has pockets. I can see. Yeah, I think it looks stupid closed. It might look kind of cool open, and then you have a pocket for your sunglasses and stuff. But
no.
I grew up with them. Sorry.
I know.
My grandfather wore them all the time.
Can't do it. Nope. I'm thinking like rodeo, like cowboy shirts. Can't do it. Nope.
No, that's not a well. It's
I
totally
know,
different.
but embroidered with the arrows and the little.
No, that's a cowboy shirt.
I know, but that's where my brain went. You can't stop my
Anyway,
brain.
No, as much as I wish I could sometimes, but
I wish I could.
so yeah, I mean, like we always say, don't overthink it. I wouldn't wear a wool kilt, but you're already down with that. You're not going to do that. I will shameless plug say that our polyviscose casual kilt would be a really good option. Easy care. Salt water or whatever is not going to do anything to it. We actually made one for a friend of ours, Captain Ron, who is a scuba instructor. We actually made a kilt for him that he could wear for promotion shots for his business. He went scuba diving in a kilt. So we're never doing it again, so don't ask. But yeah, don't overthink it. Less is more, man. Yeah. Get your Celtic jewelry going on. Get torque, not leather, but get some metal in there.
Yeah, just as it's basically you're just taking a pair of shorts and putting the kilt on. Like the rest of the outfit is it's clothing. It's what you want to show the world to express yourself. So just casual, don't overdo it. Simpler is better. You don't need to put on all the doodads and who's and what's. It's just simpler is better. Like casual kind of toned down look.
And flip flops.
Never flip flops.
And a shillelagh, because you're gonna have all the ladies all up ons. You're gonna have to beat them off with a stick.
Yep, sometimes I gotta beat the ladies off with a stick. Back, woman! Back, I said!
You're gonna be dead sexy at the beach, yo.
Not with flip flops.
How much you want to bet he could pick up a date?
In flip flops?
Yes.
Only if he has. Only
with a
if
kilt.
He has on with kilt, flip flops, white socks, German accent.
No, I'm not saying I'm.
Right. Yeah, this is my kilt.
So if you're going to the beach on the Rhine.
Yeah. No, in America, just like mix it all up.
I'm telling you, at the beach, nobody cares. They don't care.
I know they don't care. That's what makes. Oh.
I don't know.
If you do wear flip flops, I will give you. What? Remember that the necklace is made out of candy? I will give you one of those made out of bread, and let the seagulls do their work.
Killer seagulls.
Just picturing bagels now.
No, a torque made out of a giant bagel. It's like a
You get what you deserve. Release the gulls.
I bet I want to hear how this goes because I am betting you will get compliments like crazy. I think or at least get the kind of looks from the ladies and the guys too, probably. But it depends on the beach maybe. But I don't know. But
Fair.
I will say the other thing about the we're belaboring the point, but the other thing about the casual kilt is the Velcro. Like if you are gonna wear do the thing like where you have the swing trunks on and they have the kilt, for before you go in the water, quick change with the Velcro is really good.
Yep.
So in
Agreed.
fact, the one time I did go to a beach with a friend, I actually did that. I wore a casual kilt because I could easy on, easy off, and be dressed,
That's how sport kilt started, was as just a wraparound
Right.
for changing bike shorts after a race.
Yep.
So no,
Yep.
it's a valid point.
As I always say, this did get better. Being the nose came back once it relaxed a bit.
It's much better when it's on the kilt too. That's awesome.
You've had a habit of spilling stuff on yourself
I
the
know.
last
I'm
couple
a freaking
months.
slob, dude.
Totally.
Anyway, Mr. Mac, what do we got next?
All right.
Technically
So,
my turn, but I want to hear if there's any more ticker talkers.
well, I was going to go back to TikTok here,
Clockers.
and this came in before we
Went off the
we
rails?
talked to Matt about the giving us names. So, this
John from TikTok says,
yes.
"Hi, John. Good to meet you, John."
Thanks,
Anonymous from TikTok.
Anonymous.
Dude,
Would it look strange to wear a pea coat with a kilt?
Would it look strange to wear a pea coat with a kilt? Nope,
No,
not at all.
We actually, you have one. I used to have a pseudo pea coat that I'd wear. I mean, it's not like the most perfectly tailored look, but it's good enough, And sometimes, just form or function is more important than form.
Yeah, no, there's a, I'll see if I can find it. There's a picture of me and Kelly outside of Stirling Castle, I believe, where I'm in a kilt and a pea coat, in a black wool flat cap, dead of winter. And it's, form follows function. It's, if it's cold, a pea coat is a great option. It is one of those jackets that is a very, very classic cut for a jacket. So it kind of works with a lot of different things. I've worn pea coats for a very long time. I love pea coats.
Right. It's so basic. It's kind of hard to. It's
hard
kind
to
of
not like
it's
it.
like the blue jeans of jackets. It's like you can't really go wrong with it in a way.
It's like socks and sandals. It's great. Everybody
especially
loves socks and
yeah.
sandals.
Well, for my wedding I wore that.
Of course.
Wedding socks. I would say the only longer coats I've recommended to people in the past if you had to protect a fancy outfit to get to a venue, like a true like a wool overcoat, like Joe Executive in Center City wears to keep his suit dry. That can be useful, but it looks weird with a kilt. So you wear that to protect your outfit when you're walking, from the tube to the venue, and then you get rid of it. A pea coat you can wear anytime, anywhere. It's just about right. A slightly short pea coat would be cool, but it's a good thing, and it helps protect your sporran. It's long enough that it helps protect your sporran a little bit from the rain.
Yeah, no,
so that's not a bad thing.
What I typically do with a pea coat is I will button, pea coat has 3 or 4 buttons down the side. I'll button like the top 1 or 2 and leave the bottom ones undone. So that way I can, when you're sitting in a kilt with the sporran in the lap, you tend to sit a little bit further apart and spread. So it's, it's a little bit more comfortable leaving the bottom bits undone.
Right.
But outside of that, no, pea coat's great.
Yeah, it's a good option. Go for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Erik.
Now I should do one. All right.
I'll allow it.
Okay, this is a light one. This is a light touch. Jen Zemich asked if there is a tartan we all wish we had hanging in our closet.
All right, Mac, bring yourself in.
Another way of saying, is there a tartan you haven't gotten yet?
Yes.
That you wish you had.
Mr. Mac,
And this is something that's available or not available.
Yes.
Let's just say anything.
You can have a custom woven. Anything.
Okay.
Right.
Then I will go back to the well, the McDuck well.
Why?
Yep.
Why?
At this point, just because it annoys you.
Right.
It is so simple. It's like what? Yellow with a green and a red overcheck?
Yep.
Oh, it is the worst cartoonish BS. Not really a tartan.
Cartoonish,
That's what it
you say.
is.
I
It's
know.
a cartoon.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
So Mac just wants to annoy me. It's my tartan.
This is tough. I should have thought about this before we went on.
Well, John on Facebook says he wishes the Help for Heroes tartan. That's one.
Yeah, I think they stopped doing it.
That's what he
Yeah,
mentioned on
yeah.
okay.
Lock Karen discontinued it.
Okay.
Go ahead. Do you know yours yet or no?
You asking Adam? You're asking me?
No, you.
I think you're pointing in that direction. I
No,
think you're pointing
no,
at Adam.
Like on the camera, it looks like him.
No, I don't have mine yet. I don't have mine yet.
You
Sorry.
don't have one yet. You.
don't.
I'm going to keep
thinking.
pointing this direction.
I'm thinking.
Now I'm going to just make it awkward.
Because I could do this. I could do any number of ways. I sort of kind of like, what's the one Welsh one that's the...
Tron.
Yeah, the Tron Tartan.
Pride of Wales.
Pride of Wales.
Yeah.
I would like Pride of Wales, but square, not rectangular.
It's not too bad. It's not too rectangular. The Welsh tartans have a different warp and weft. So warp being the long, lengthwise threads, and then weft being the shorter, across.
They just wanted to be different.
Yes. So they generally have a different warp and weft.
But I would love to have that for, quite honestly, for like a clubbing outfit.
Yeah, it's got that electric blue.
I love that electric.
Yeah.
Man, I would like to have that.
Fair.
I'll give you a second one. I would like to have a tweed kilt-ish that is a replica of one of the Hallstatt tartan specimens. I would love to have a kilt made out of a tartan that is, 2,000 years old. That would be the bomb. Older than that, actually. Is it 2,000? 2,500? Something like that.
Something. It's old. Yeah.
That would be cool.
Your serial number is 2.
Exactly.
Man, now I'm thinking about that. Darn it.
You wanted me to go first.
No,
you pressured me to go first, and now you're complaining.
There are a couple. Who's the tartan dude? Patrick Sims. He's a tartan designer. He's done a few different tartans, like the Angel Share, Earthrise. There's a few that he's done.
Earthrise is beautiful.
I didn't get in on the Angel Share tartan, so I might say that one. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like I wish I had it. It's.
That was brought up on here as well.
That is a good one. That is a good one.
That one.
That is a good one. And I have to, now you mentioned Earthrise is gorgeous. I do love Earthrise.
There's Relia is another one for Cthulhu. That's another tartan that we've had it woven, and like it's one of those where it's like I like it, but I'm not sure I would like it for me. So we get it in. We do this big group order. We get it in, and I'm like, kind of wish I got it. Yeah, well,
it's gorgeous.
Yeah, so that's another one. So I have a couple, but they're ones that I like the look of it, but I'm not sure how often I would wear it. So because it's not my usual color.
I don't think it has to matter for this exercise.
Intrigued. Yes,
it doesn't have to matter.
Okay, fine.
Could be anything.
Fine.
So
then all the tartans.
How many other Elder God Cthulhu-esque Lovecraftian tartans can we come up with? Can we do one for Nyarlathotep?
Of course.
Yeah, it's like yellow. The king in yellow. All you Lovecraftian fans out there, giving a shout out to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Indeed. Sure. Mr. Mack.
All right, so we have John asking, because there is a day coming up on I believe, Wednesday.
Dun, dun, dun.
I thought it was Thursday, but...
Tartan Day.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. What are you planning anything special for Tartan Day? Do we have anything in the works?
Yes and no. Depends on how you want to think about it.
Yes. We have a video coming out for Tartan Day. Yes. The handsomest presenter with the most freaking research in the world.
Rock, you should.
Or not. No, we're doing a video on the Sobieski Stewarts, which we will be premiering. We're almost done editing it. I think I'm pointing it at him because he's the one editing it, not me. So we'll be probably scheduling that Monday or Tuesday to premiere on Tartan Day.
Yep.
Not sure what time. So by the time this video gets edited, it'll be up. So we'll insert a link there. It's the Sobieski Stewarts are one of the people, because there's two of them, that have really kind of intrigued me for a long time, being con men / innovators. It's a really, really interesting story where they're the complete bullshit artists. They're complete con men who just made things up, but it's the basis for a lot of different things that were just kind of accepted and kind of like, okay, sure, and moving forward.
Don't do too many spoilers.
Sorry. But we have a video coming up on that. Anything else we have going on for Tartan Day?
Well, I mean, he might have meant personally also. I'll tune in for the parade. but I'll be here working, so I'll be having that running on one of my monitors at my workstation and just enjoying the vibe. That's about it. I'll have a drink.
While working,
listen to some music. We've never really done. We've done dinners for Burns night, but we've never. I mean, my family, but I've never done a special meal for Tartan Day. It'd be fun to do that if I could do something in time.
You make a cake with tartan on it and eat that.
Any excuse to have a haggis, frankly. I mean,
fair.
I used to do a crock pot haggis. It's not like a real haggis, but it was good. I could be tempted to make that just for the heck of it.
Okay, Mr. Mac, do you have anything
something delicious
special going on for Tartan Day outside of
tatties.
Working and drinking at work?
Like you do.
I thought the shackles were going back on. I was being tied back to the machine again.
Quiet.
Other than that, no. It's the normal day in paradise.
Okay. We'll have to have like some Walker's shortbread or something. Mm-hmm. We'll do a little thing over in production.
It would someday. It would be nice to like decamp and go to New York and actually participate.
Yes.
That'd be an awesome field trip. It's just a bit logistical. Logistical-astic.
We could do a live video, a live feed of everything, and have you two critique the parade, just like the two guys,
it.
like
yes.
the two
like
guys from the Muppets.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't, only if we're drinking, and I don't know how long we would be.
So we're gonna be like Dick Clark and somebody, and he's like, "Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Tartan Day Parade. Yes. As you can see behind me, they're setting up."
Yeah. No. No,
that'd be weird.
That'd be too many explicatives.
It's
fun. No, I'm not.
I thought he was gonna say we should have our own Tartan Day Parade, and we'll just like get the whole company out, and we'll just like walk down Route 724.
Entire kilt company gets
hit by a Mack truck.
Smashed by a Mack truck. The irony. New film at 11. So, yeah, we don't have a whole bunch of stuff planned. We have content coming out like we always do.
Right.
We love the fact that it's getting bigger every year. We love the fact that it's kind of becoming a thing. But as far as us personally, no, we kind of are slaves.
Mm-hmm. Now, Monday we will be posting the full recording of the Kilts and Culture March tune. We had a taste of it in the Bob Cameron Ambassador segment we did a few months ago. But we have the whole tune out, so you can save it and listen to it anytime you want. That'll be coming out Monday.
Awesome. The other thing we can do, release our NFTs.
Right.
Indeed. Yes.
Right.
The millions and millions that we would make. Indeed. For 8-bit pictures of Mac. All right. Next question, Mr. Erik.
All right. John Simpson asks, why can't I get the McDuck tartan?
Did you actually ask that?
No.
Okay.
April Fools. Throwing Mac a bone there. McDo Hicks.
I'll throw bones at Mac.
McDo Hicks asked us what our thoughts are on full mask sporrans. He says he wears a raccoon mask sporran with his gray kilt and also with his regular kilt. Mr. Hicks is, in fact, a living historian. So I'm assuming that some of the time when he's wearing that, the raccoon, he might be wearing it in a historical context, but I'm not sure. I mean, we have plenty of guys who are now wearing gray kilts as modern casual fashion. But what do we think of full mask sporrans? You want to explain what they are? And
Sure. Full mask sporran is also known as a head-on sporran. It is an animal pelt. The body of the sporran is covered with animal fur, and then the actual head of the animal is what makes up the flap. I would say this: there are varying degrees of taxidermists in the world, so it is my thoughts on a head-on sporran or a full mask sporran really hinge on the quality of the taxidermy.
You're right.
Now we get our sporrans over in Scotland, and they've done. It depends on the individual skin that they get in for an animal, if they're able to make full mask things or not. If they're able to have access to the taxidermist, how long the taxidermist has taking to get things back to them, the quality of the taxidermy. Is it somebody who just does it as a hobby and they have a full pelt, with just the head flopped on top? Or is it an actual sporran shape with a properly taxidermied head? Is the hair going to fall out? There's a lot of different things. So I will say this from a quality sporran, proper head on, proper taxidermy, proper sporran shape and form. It is a very, very versatile thing. You can wear it for day wear as well as for formal. It is the most versatile sporran, even more so than a semi-dress. Like you can dress it down or up, and it works perfectly in any circumstance. Now, a lot of people just kind of relegate it because of the cost to more formal stuff. But, whether it's raccoon, whether it's fox, whether it's badger, musquash, there's a few different typical ones that people do for head-on sporrans. But, yeah, you can wear it for a whole host of events.
Yeah. I loved this question, partially because I didn't know the exact answer that I wanted to give. And Mac and I tried to do some digging on it. And what I was curious about was what is the historical antiquarian provenance of head-on sporrans, full mask sporrans. I know that very, very early on, the Highlanders would make sporrans sometimes out of pelts of animals like, roe deer, Highland deer, deer was the main one. But other animals, basically, where they left the fur on. So I'm assuming that this tradition kind of started with that. But the very earliest I was able to find a visual example of a head-on sporran was actually, and I'm sure there's more out there, but with a quick search, what I found was anybody who's familiar with prints of Highland swordplay and historical martial arts people, you might know this, but instruction manuals for swordsmanship. There's one that came out in 1799 called the Hungarian and Highland Broadsword. And you've probably seen this print online. It's The Advantage of Shifting the Leg. And there's a whole series of them. And you have this guy who looks very Prussian or very French. And you have a gentleman who looks like a Napoleonic era, slightly earlier, Highland soldier in a kilt. He's doing the sword moves, And he's wearing what we would now call a swing and six sporran. And it seems to be badger with the head on. And I was kind of fascinated by this. I haven't seen visual examples of it from any earlier than that, but the idea had to have been based on something. So if anybody out there has earlier than 1799 extant images of this, I'd be curious to know. We know that there were versions of the swing and six that were both head-on and regular cantle. Mac, that's what you said you found, right? Cue the Mac.
Yeah, I found a couple variants of it, especially with the cantle being different for different things. But yeah, I was finding stuff that was more 1860, 1880s.
Yeah, and that jives with what I've seen on the civilian side, that by the time we have large collections of photography of guys in Highland dress, head-on sporrans were very popular at that point. There's a lot of portraits where they've got the full frickin' dead animal right there. It was like that, and goat hair were super popular for a while. Seems to have died down by the 20th century, as far as I can tell, in terms of being actually really popular. But they've never stopped. They've kind of always been there, is the impression I've gotten. So, yeah, I basically that's just a trivia for you guys, but I would say what Rocky said, basically, they can be really good if they're made well. They can be really silly looking if they're not made well.
The googly eye one.
Exactly.
Yeah. I've got a couple of pictures in the archive that we can throw up later.
Yes.
Throw up later.
Yeah, there's one with a what's it, fox. It had essentially googly eyes on the sport.
It's like the head is just so desiccated, it looks more like a shrew than a fox. It's like, oh no!
Wile E. Coyote comes to mind.
After it's been flattened by an Acme steam
roller.
Oh
no, Mr. Bill!
You're sporran material now, buddy. But But they're cool. I don't know if I would you want one?
I like them. Especially
care which
that
pelt?
one fox one we had here for a while. It was really nice. I like them. I've always contemplated about getting one.
Okay.
Just I've always liked them.
Right on.
Yeah, it's the consistency is the problem. Like you get some that the taxidermy is bang on and it looks beautiful, and then the next one you get in, it's a little cross-eyed or something, and it's one of those where it's like, but it's the amount of labor or there's something just a little bit off with it, but the amount of labor and the cost that went into it is the same as a good one, so it's difficult for consistency's sake because these are individual animals. So it's an individual
I think
pelts.
there all the joking aside, there are some good ones being made out there, and I think individual artists do make good ones. I personally am not interested in it because the portion of your sporran that you touch all the time is the flap, and so the idea of getting hand oils on the fur of the head, and or just rubbing that fur and rubbing it off over the years, I don't know. I just feel like it was less durable somehow. I think now, like the old swinging sixes. With the very lush fur pelt underneath, but a metal cantle, not unlike this one actually. This style of cantle, a lot of the time, those I think are freaking awesome. I love that. I love anything with a cantle plate like this. But I wouldn't go for a full head on personally.
Yeah, I've done it. I've had a badger, but I
don't need no stinking badger.
We don't need no badgers. I don't have to show you any stinking badgers.
I was going badger.
badger.
honey badger don't give a the Rocky's badger don't give a
Honey badger don't care. Honey badger don't give
the anyway. Sorry, that was a
That's
joke from
3
10
badger
years ago.
jokes in like
Yes.
30 seconds.
The
Good luck editing that one. Yeah. Oh wait, no, it's Matt's turn this one.
no, it's I've had it and it was a novelty and I ended up just selling it on because I didn't wear it enough, and it's a loud statement, and my method of dress with the kilt tends to be a little bit more understated, so I didn't feel the need to wear it, so I just kind of it was just collecting dust in the closet, so I just wanted to give it a better home someone that would actually use it.
And the other, I've told you my story before about my erstwhile friend in the SCA who had a full fox head sporran they'd wear, and at events he would invite ladies to come up and pet the fox. So I will always have a bad taste in my mouth because of that guy.
Fair.
It's like, really, dude?
Cringy, dude. Come on.
Really?
Yeah.
You're gonna go there?
It is what it is.
But your mileage may vary.
Some people's children, as they say.
Some people's children. I don't know that one.
You never heard it? Some people's children. Yeah, see, Mac knows. Yeah, it's just kind of the disparaging.
Fascinating.
They were raised poorly.
Poor breeding.
Yes, not breeding necessarily, but poor.
I've also the whole entire time I've been thinking, head-on sporran, worn around the waist.
I know.
Head-on sporran,
I was thinking
worn
that
around
too. The whole.
Applied directly to the crotch. Head-on sporran applied directly
Oh
to
my
the crotch.
God.
Head on, applied directly to the forehead. Head on, applied directly to the forehead.
This is gonna be such a fun segment to
Yes.
film. There's gonna be so many jokes in this one. I love it. I love it. Now, my mom used to always say NOCD, but my family on her side came from the New York Social Register, so it was NOCD, not our class, dear.
Quite.
Yes.
Indeed.
Yes. Yep.
All right, Mac. Do we have another question that's not
All
so
right.
blue?
So we have Carl asking,
Hey, Carl.
with Saxon wear, is it traditional to leave the jacket unbuttoned when wearing a waistcoat, but the top button when not wearing a vest? What's the guideline for kilts?
For kilts, generally, when you're wearing a jacket and vest, you do not button the jacket.
At all.
Correct?
Usually.
Yep. And the kilt, you can leave the bottom undone. You do not have to. It's one of those kind of
Are you talking about the vest button?
affectations.
You talking about the vest button or the
He's
just
talking
the
about
jackets?
both. He's talking about both. So for kilts, you don't button the jacket. For the vest, for the bottom button, you can leave it undone. You don't have to leave it undone. The story is that it goes back to King...
Oh, Edward.
No, Edward.
Yep.
saying basically he got fat and left the bottom button undone so that way he could be more comfortable in his kilt while seated. I have no idea what that's about.
Well, that was for men's fashion in general, and what he did, everybody did because he was the trendsetter.
That's where
it's
I was
a
going.
myth. People were leaving their bottom button undone for ages before he did it. It's just like the myth was that he originated the custom. I actually follow, if it's a 3-button jacket, I would follow the same button conventions.
Jacket or vest?
Jacket. I'm going back to jacket.
Okay.
You want to go back to vest?
No.
When it comes to vests with a kilt, I actually button the bottom button of the vest because I just like how it looks better. There's no rule you have to follow. You'll have people who think they know fashion saying, "Oh, you shouldn't have your bottom button unbuttoned," or you should have. Harumph. But
now, 3-button vest, I would button the bottom. Period.
Yeah, how many people wear a 3-button?
Because it's more formal. It's
a 3-button waistcoat.
Well, for Prince Charlie.
Yeah, you would never have a waistcoat unbuttoned for something like that.
Correct. Now, but for a 5-button vest, maybe the bottom button you can. You don't have to. It's up to you.
Yeah, but for the jacket, I actually, for something like an Argyle, typical Argyle cut, you have like what, 2 buttons?
1 button or 3
one.
generally.
Yeah. So with a 1 button, I wouldn't close it at all. It just looks better open, to be honest. But with a multi-button jacket, I have occasionally followed the Saxon convention of buttoning, the second one down. And part of that's just for convenience in certain occasions. You don't want, again, because the sporran is the center of attention for the outfit, it just generally will look better if you're not covering it. And even a properly cut Highland dress jacket, it's still going to kind of compete a little bit with the sporran in terms of the line and covering up the top of it a little bit. So usually guys just wear it open. But that said, for convenience's sake, or I will sometimes follow Saxon convention and do the minimal button thing.
Agreed.
Now, this is a modern sensibility. If you look at Victorian pictures, you'll see guys in like sack jackets and stuff where they've got the top button buttoned and it just goes whoop, which is what everybody was doing with their jackets back then. But with a kilt, they did it anyway because that's just how you wear a jacket. Yeah. So, fashion is weird.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so my turn
Mr.
again?
Erik, yes.
That's my line for the day. Fashion is weird. From YouTube, James Robertson had asked us, is there an easily detectable difference between a machine-sewn kilt or a hand-sewn kilt? Can you tell the difference? If you want to tell the difference between a machine-sewn and hand-sewn, how would you?
Sure. For a machine-sewn kilt, there's different types of machine-sewn kilts. There's top-stitched, meaning you can actually see the stitching down the very, very edge of each pleat. And then there's sewn inside out or invisible stitching where you sew the pleats together, then you open it up so you don't see any of the stitching at all. For a hand-sewn 8-yard kilt, you're sewing the pleats on the top, but you're kind of hiding the pleats or hiding the stitches as you're sewing it as best you can. You don't really want to see it. From the 10-foot rule, can you tell the difference? No, not really. There are good quality hand-sewn kilts and bad quality hand-sewn kilts, just like there are good quality machine-sewn and bad quality machine-sewn kilts in the same way.
Right.
Here's my parallel. Even, if you're even in the class at Harvard, somebody graduated last. So just because it's a hand-sewn kilt doesn't mean that it's good quality. Just because it's machine-sewn doesn't mean it's good quality. It's just a different way to skin the cat. It's a different way to do it. Mm-hmm. So now, if you go from the 10-foot rule to the 10-inch rule, where you're actually looking really, really, really closely at it, on a hand-sewn kilt, you're going to see little tiny tick marks going up each individual pleat. On a machine-sewn kilt where it's sewn inside out, so you don't see the stitching, you're not going to see any stitches going down. Mm-hmm. On a top-stitched 8-yard kilt, you're going to see stitching, really, really, really close to the edge of each pleat. But, the company should use, a complementary color that they're kind of hiding the stitch color in with the actual, the tartan fabric. But for an 8-yard kilt, the kind of the dead giveaway is you're going to see little tiny ticks every ideally 1/8 of an inch going up. How one of my bellwethers for a good quality 8-yard kilt, in the stitching at least, is you want to have about 8 stitches per inch. If you have, let's say, 4 stitches per inch, where it's every 1/4 inch, you're putting more stress on each individual stitch, and they're going to tend to pop over time. But the more stitches you add, the more that you're distributing that stress across all the different stitches. Now, the more stitches you have, the longer it takes to sew the kilt, which generally means it's going to be more expensive. So that's one of the ways to do it quicker, is to have less individual stitches. That is where machine-sewn kilts have an advantage, is to get more stitches per inch. It's literally just you turn the dial versus physically making more individual hand movements. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think I'm wondering if that's something you've run into with historical kilts, Mac. Like if you're looking at World War I examples, like you can tell, kind of like where it came from or when it was made in terms of how quickly it was made and how much it was just like, we got to crank this out, like how many stitches there were versus...
Yeah, but they're going to be running on a machine, especially for
They
World
were,
War I.
it was mostly machine at that point. Okay. Of course.
You're going to see a lot of field repairs done by hand.
Yeah.
Like I've seen where a piece of shrapnel's gone through a kilt that was reissued, and like a chunk of the front apron has been hand spliced in.
Imagine getting that one.
Yeah.
Here's your new kilt, laddie.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So yeah, you see stuff.
The guy
like
who
that.
wore it last won't be needing it anymore.
Yeah. He's got a leg missing now.
His widow gave it to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting dark.
So yeah, like that. It's at that point you're just full on. They're just full bore.
Okay. They're just assembly lining it. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But I know we have seen some hand stitched kilts come through the shop.
Yeah.
And you can see that. Yeah, it's very.
We've seen plenty of hand sewn, which is why I'm making the assertion that there are good and bad quality hand sews. We've seen both.
Yeah.
We've seen good quality, machine sewn and bad. It really boils down to the individual maker or the company and what their quality standards are. And it's if they're trying to meet a certain price point. Time is money. So if they're trying to meet a certain price point, they're going to cut as many corners as they can to make it in a certain amount of time to be able to provide it at a certain price point. So when that's the motive, then you have to cut corners, whether it's the guts inside the kilt, whether it's the amount of stitches per inch, whether it's fusible interfacing on the inside versus hand sewn in. There's all kinds of different ways to cut corners.
So
yeah.
Then what would motivate you to buy a hand-stitched kilt over a machine stitch? Because my assumption has been in the past that there's a romance to the hand-sewn kilt that people buy into, but actually it's not necessarily that big a difference, or it's not a visually notable difference like you were saying. Is it worth paying extra for a hand-sewn kilt? That's a loaded question because it's an emotional thing, but
it is. But it depends on your motives. The hand sewn kilt industry in Scotland, like the kilt industry, let's say 30 years ago, it's a cottage industry. There was a lot of hand sewn kilt makers, but it wasn't like it is now, where like for us we have 10 kilt makers who drive to work every morning, sit in the building and sit there sewing all day and talking and chatting back and forth. But for kilt makers in Scotland, hand-sewn kilt makers, it's a cottage industry, meaning if you ordered a hand-sewn kilt from this company, they would have 8 little old ladies sitting in their homes physically hand-sewing kilts. So you'd order it, they would order the cloth from Loch Erin or House of Edgar or whoever, ship it off to the little old lady who would sit there hand sewing the kilt. They got the measurements, they got the pattern, they got everything they need. They hand sew it, then they send it back to the company, who would then give it to you as the customer or ship it out to you. So if that is the thing you want to support, and that's the thing that's in your brain, and that's I want Miss McIntosh to sit there and hand sew my kilt, then great. It was what you were supporting. Now, with machine sewn kilts, some of them are, depending on the company, are kind of assembly lined. Some of them are more like us, where it's one particular kilt maker making everything soup to nuts. So hand-sewn kilts, you're getting more one maker, generally speaking. Machine-sewn kilts, it depends on the company. You could get, a assembly line versus one person making it. You're still supporting a company. You're still supporting individuals and their labor, whether it's one person making it or 3 or 4. You're still supporting the heritage. So you're still supporting it. You're just doing it in a different way. Am I making sense?
Yeah. But so there isn't necessarily a lot of clout. I don't know if that's the word I want.
Bragging rights.
Bragging rights with a hand-sewn kilt.
There are some.
There's some,
yes,
but
especially if and there are kilt makers, individual hand-sewn kilt makers who will strike out on their own, who will hang out their shingle and say, "Hey, I'm going to, I'm going to make my own kilts and advertise that I make my own." And they may also subcontract for another company. Like they're looking for different ways for different types of income.
I think that would make the difference for me. Like I would consider hand-sewn if I had a relationship with the artisan, like directly, like a personal thing, because it add to the experience.
Yes.
But you could say that with a kilt maker, even if they're using a machine for half and hand sewing for the other half.
Yes.
Which is in actuality is what happens here. There are parts that you just don't do, by machine.
That's why when
if you care at least. But.
Yeah. No. That's why when we finish a kilt, we have the care sheet and we have your name, the measurements, the tartan, the mill that it came from, all that kind of stuff, as well as who made your kilt. Right. We know who made the kilt, so let's give that to the customer to add that as part of the experience, knowing that they are supporting this individual, and this is the man or the woman who physically made this for you. It is not quite a bespoke, but it is a custom-made experience. So, yeah, good companies will do that.
Yeah. But
indeed.
Yeah.
Was that you or Mac?
That was me. It
all
is. We're after 5. So
I know. We're going to do one more, Mr. Mac.
Cool.
Since it's TikTok, if we have anyone from TikTok, it's first day on TikTok.
They've all passed out now.
Please follow us. I know, they're bored as hell.
They're gone.
Damn millennials.
I have one more question from TikTok.
All right.
I got one more.
Give it to me.
This comes from Patrick O'Toole. And what is the best whiskey that you have in the office?
In the office or in the studio?
Both. Okay.
That's a very subjective
Max, stay
opinion.
in for this one.
That's
because
subjective.
My opinion has kind of evolved on this over time.
If I remembered the names of anything,
right.
We've tried a lot of whiskey.
I know. That's what I'm trying to remember names.
Gosh,
of stuff.
we have.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm trying to think of any of the ones my favorites are on the shelf still.
I'm gonna be just whatever's in my glass because I don't remember names.
What's the one that was in your office that we tried?
That was the Chattanooga.
Yeah, Chattanooga Choo Choo.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, Chattanooga Whiskey Company. Something.
That's your favorite?
No, that was his.
Yeah, I like that one.
He liked that one. Like, here's a perk of working here. When we have a lot of extra scotch or whiskey, you get to have some, and or take it home. So Mac, I know, loved the Chattanooga Choo Choo, whatever the heck it was.
I don't know, that's what we've been calling it. But
yep, I know.
Chattanooga something.
Yes, so we gave that one to him. Yours.
Pardon me, Mac.
You liked?
Is that the Chattanooga whiskey?
8.
You're supposed to say yes.
Yeah. Sorry, I was already listening. Next
Pennsylvania
thing
65000.
Yeah.
Chattanooga Choo Choo.
I know. It's another song, but it's the same
Do
argument.
you even know antiquated jazz?
Do you even swing, bro?
Phrasing.
I know you do.
Not that way. Hold on. Honey, I swear. So, you cut the feed.
Well, I'm a McAllen fan.
Yes.
And I like the Dalmore.
Dalmore's good. The Dalmore's a good one.
We have not actually done the Dalmore on the show yet.
Yes, we did.
When?
We did it a long time ago.
Oh, must have been a long time ago.
Absolutely did the Dalmore.
Yes, we did.
Absolutely.
Yes, we did, Erik.
That's why I have a bottle in my office, because I loved it.
Then why'd you try to drink it like a bitch? Yeah, well, I was looking at because there's another one right there that we'll hopefully get to soon. There's a Dalmore right up there.
Oh, yeah.
Forward to.
Dude, who was that from Australia? I forget the dude's name.
Lost his name.
Joyce? No. Anyway, there's a dude from Australia. If you're watching, sorry I forget your name.
I'll think of it in 10 minutes.
I know. If I'm going to go look at the bottle list to figure out his name. Ian, quick type in the comments. He's not watching. But the he bought us Oban cigar, and which I had to try it. It was good God, that was a good one. And there's another one over there. Oh, there's too many.
Now what's funny? Okay, do your favorite, and then I'll follow up with a different question. But go ahead.
My most surprising, not favorite, but good one, which led to one of my favorites, current favorites. I'll say it that way.
That's a good way to put it.
Yes, was a viewer got us shield egg, and I'm like, okay, well, let's try it. All right, fine, I might not like this, but we tried it on the show, and I was like, damn, this is really good.
Yeah, it was good.
So then I went out, and I'm like, okay, what does shield egg make aside from, I think it was the 10 he got us, and they had an 18, and I bought the 18, and I'm like, this is actually really good. It's smooth. I think it's a Highland, but it's a Space Side, but it was really, really good. So Shield Egg 18 is probably one of my current favorites.
Cool.
David Kemp.
David Kemp, thank you.
Ian is watching.
Yes. Oh, David, thank you again.
David,
thank
you're
you.
awesome.
We're
Thank
gonna
you
try
so
yours.
much.
The Oban's pretty damn good. I can't spoiler alert when we're gonna do it on the show eventually, but
all right. You want the follow-up question?
Go ahead.
And you guys out there are already thinking this. And we may all be in agreement on this, too. We'll see. What is the worst whiskey we've ever tried?
I'm going Smokehead.
I might be with you on that. Yeah.
That's 3.
Yeah. It's
I knew it was going to be
It's over the rainbow.
This is smoking. Meg's over there coughing.
Yeah, Smokehead just too much.
It blows the scale. We should go crack the bottle open now. It's been a couple years.
No, we gave it to Ian.
You gave it to Ian?
Oh, yeah. I don't want that shit.
I want to know if it changed. I want to know if it...
No, it won't change in the bottle. Once it's bottled, it's done.
Well, maybe leave... What was it? Somebody put the one time, open the bottle, let it breathe until it evaporates.
Yeah, pretty much. Now, there's... Yeah, Smokehead was...
That was
That's
horrible.
a lot of smoke.
It was a gimmick whiskey, basically.
The swing bottle is probably the neatest bottle because I
Yeah,
just sit there and
swing is
rock it back and forth.
And I didn't like the swing very much either. That's definitely
but
down
the
there.
bottle's awesome. You just rock
The
it back
bottle
and
is
forth.
funny. The gimmick is stupid.
Yeah, it was fine. It's fine, to quote Ian.
Meh.
There was another one. The banjo one, I think, was pretty bad.
That was very bad.
Yeah.
That was
very
very
There's
bad.
been a few that we didn't like. For those of you who are just watching this for the first time or just tuning in on the TikToks, we review whiskeys, and we are very, very honest. We have people who give us presents, and then we insult their gifts.
We're also not whiskey experts, you know.
No,
but
we are very, very honest in how we review stuff. So, yeah, there was a dueling banjos thing.
Dueling banjos was bad.
Yeah. Smokehead, we tried. That wasn't the gift. I bought that one. But it had a really, really cool tin, and then it just was horrible. So, yeah, Smokehead's probably the least favorite. Indeed.
There you
Now
go.
we've insulted everyone's
the
whiskey.
alpha and omega.
Indeed. Quite. All right. Boys and girls, if we don't see you, have a great, great Tartan week next week. What's the question of the day? Here's the question of the day. What is your favorite scotch, and what is your least favorite scotch? 2 questions. I'm doing devil horns all day today for number 2. Favorite scotch, least favorite scotch. Let us know in the comments. Until next time, boys and girls, Slanjava. A slide back into the chair and
Rocky demonstrates the proper way to sit down in a kilt.
shoving my crotch in the face of the viewers.
That wasn't it. He's gonna...
Viewers like you.